Hello, in this video we will cover writing. To be precise, two-part questions in Writing Task 2. Last time I asked my community about this type of questions and many said that yeah, it's quite difficult. And today we will look at some topics and some examples. If you want to know all these examples, please watch this video till the end and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Well, I have taken several topics. One topic I have taken from Cambridge books. The other topic I have taken from the internet. I have found that many students shared the same topic, that they had it on their real exam. And also I have taken one topic from our students. This topic was given twice to our students, and it was quite challenging for many. So usually in IELTS, when they see challenging topics, they decide to share it several times. Like they provide this topic to test takers several times. I have encountered such a situation, and maybe in the later videos I will share with you such difficult topics. Well, let's look at this two-part question essays. So we have: many manufactured food and drink products contain high level of sugar, which causes many health problems. Sugary products should be made more expensive to encourage people to consume less sugar. Do you agree or disagree? If I'm not mistaken, this topic is taken from IELTS Cambridge 16. By the way, I'm very sorry. I have been sick for the last couple of days, and that's why my voice may not sound very good. Okay, so we have here two sentences, I'm sorry. We have here two sentences, and of course, one of the sentences carries the main meaning, which should be discussed in our essay, but the other sentence usually gives us background information. And here, of course, we understand that the second sentence gives us the main meaning. We should agree or disagree whether sugary products should be expensive to encourage people to buy it less. But the first sentence gives us background information, like actually it explains why they offered this option to make these products more expensive. Because many food and drink products contain this sugar, and this causes many health problems. What to do in this case? So here we have two ways. Firstly, we should take into consideration both questions. We cannot take only the second question and discuss it. We should also discuss in our essay that sugary products cause health problems. It should also be covered in the essay. And as I've said, we have two ways. The first way, we can agree or disagree with the first sentence, and write it in the first body paragraph. Agree and disagree with the second sentence and write it in the second body paragraph. We can also just agree or disagree with the second sentence, but while writing our essay, we should cover the first sentence as well. Like we should write about this information, about it, somewhere in the essay. Okay, these are two ways. The problem with the first way, when we can devote a separate paragraph for each sentence, is that if we disagree with the first sentence, we have to disagree with the second sentence as well. So we totally disagree. If we agree with the first sentence, but we can agree or disagree with the second sentence. I will not write an essay for this topic because it's taken from Cambridge. I want you to write this topic. If you want, you can share your essay in the comment section. I will try to check it, at least very shortly. Now let's look at other topics. The first one, which was shared several times on the internet, and I think that people really encountered it. Yeah, there are some teachers who may say that, no, these topics are not reliable because they are modified. We cannot trust them. But again, anyway, let's discuss it. On our course, we have discussed so many topics taken from real exams from our own students, so I don't think that it's a bad idea. Well, the leaders of most organizations tend to be older people. However, some argue that younger people make better bosses. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Well, this essay is two-question essay, but what's interesting here This agree-disagree essay seems like comparison agree-disagree essays. We kind of compare old bosses and young bosses, and we will support just one of them. So actually we should agree or disagree with the second sentence, but the first sentence should be taken into consideration. Let's look at our first model answer and then discuss it. So here I have my introduction. Firstly, I just paraphrase the topic, and then I write my own opinion, my position, that while some argue that older individuals are better leaders, I think that younger people possess better qualities for managerial jobs. So here you understand that I'm going to support young bosses. And then I write my first body paragraph. Undoubtedly, many businesses still keep elder people at managerial positions because of their experience. This is my idea. And I explain that these experienced people have a wealth of knowledge, skills, abilities, decision-making, problem-solving, so on. And it can be invaluable in the workplace. And also they have faced a variety of changes and developed crisis management, which is also very important for jobs. So I have admitted that older people are good. Now let's go to the second body paragraph. Nevertheless, I think that younger individuals may have certain advantages over their older counterparts. Okay, this is my transition sentence. I go to my own opinion and I give my own ideas why younger people are better. And also I added here when it comes to leadership, because we're talking about leadership positions. And here I have they can be more innovative, adaptable in this fast-paced industries. And then I compare with older generation. I say conversely, older individuals may be more resistant to change and rely more heavily on their own experience. So older people may not be so adaptable. And then I have younger bosses may also be more receptive to new ideas. And then I say that something that may be challenging for older employees. So all the time I try to strengthen my position throughout the essay. If you remember, it's written in task response. Don't forget about that. So here I kinda agreed with the first sentence, and then I said that mostly I agree with the second sentence. I support the second sentence, although I admit that older people are good enough. And I have my second essay. I have written it like in an opposite way. So I disagree that younger people are better leaders. And in the first body paragraph, I write about young individuals. They may have certain advantages, and then I write that they are more adaptive, blah, blah, blah. And then I go to the second body paragraph. Nevertheless, I think that elder people should still take managerial positions because of their experience. And while writing about their experience, I try to weaken younger leaders. Conversely, young employees lose courage in hardships. Or like when I say that older bosses have crisis management, which their younger counterparts may lack in most cases. So these are two ways of writing this essay. In the first way, I kind of agreed with the first sentence, and I agreed with the second sentence. In the second way, in the second essay, I disagreed with the first sentence, mostly disagreed with the first sentence, and I touched the points which are mentioned in the first sentence. So again, it's very important not to forget about the first sentence and always cover it. Always cover background information. What else I want to mention about this essay is the first sentence. We need to pay attention to the first sentence. Actually, we need to pay attention to both sentences. But in the first sentence, we have this uncertainty. They say the leaders of most organizations tend to be older. So when they use such words like tend to be older or some modal verbs like may, could, can, this shows uncertainty, and this means that it's good if we discuss the sentence in a separate body paragraph. They use soft language, tentative language, tend to. But that's why if you have such a sentence with uncertainty, try to write a separate paragraph for this sentence as well. And that's why both of my essays contain a separate paragraph devoted to older generation, older bosses. If the sentence is written with no uncertainty, like in the first case, we have many manufactured food and drink products contain high-level sugar. They say it for sure. It's exactly like that, and we know this. Now let's go to the next essay. This topic is more difficult because it contains one tricky word. Let's read it. Today, too much money is spent on preserving historical buildings. Some people say that we should demolish old buildings and build new ones instead. Do you agree or disagree? So the trick here is in the word too. Too much money was spent on preserving old buildings. It's like abnormally much money. It shouldn't be that much. And while discussing this essay, if we agree or disagree, especially if we disagree with this point of view that we should destroy these buildings and build new ones instead, we should provide some ideas which will show that preserving these buildings brings us more money than in case we demolish them and build new ones. Okay? I hope it's clear. We should prove that our position is correct. We should show that no, it's not too much. It's normal. If we demolish them, we will lose more money. Let's look at our essays. So in the first one, I totally disagree with this position. I paraphrase it. I write that I will argue that preserving old buildings is essential to maintain a sense of cultural heritage and so on. And I have 3 body paragraphs where I show my position. In the first one, I say that they represent cultural heritage. They provide insight into how people used to live. It's a window in the past. Demolishing these buildings will result in the permanent loss of cultural heritage. And then I weaken old buildings because I want to strengthen my position. All new buildings may not possess the same sense of history and culture. Then I go to the second body paragraph, like preserving old buildings can be more sustainable than constructing new structures. So here I strengthen my position. I show that this is more sustainable. Like this is better to preserve them than to build new ones. And then I explain that if we demolish old buildings and build new buildings, this will lead to the depletion of natural resources and also environmental degradation. Preserving them will lead to less resource consumption. And the last one is really very important. Here, it's about the benefit to the local economy. So it's about money. I say that historical buildings are significant tourist attractions. Tourists come to some cities because of historical buildings like Rome and so on. And also tourism creates job opportunities. Thus, preserving these buildings is more beneficial from financial perspective than building new ones. So this is the essay where I totally disagree. And the second one, here I tried to agree with the second sentence. This one is of course more difficult. Sometimes there are some topics in which it's difficult to agree or disagree. For example, here it's a bit difficult to agree that we should demolish old buildings. I don't think that it's logical. But again, so here I say, I will argue that although preserving old buildings is essential to maintain a sense of cultural heritage, in some situations it's better to demolish them. In some situations. So I don't want to overgeneralize again. And I say, first of all, I disagree that too much money is spent on preserving old buildings. And then I explain that they are kind of important cultural and historical landmarks. And they are also tourist attractions, so we don't waste money while preserving them. And then I say, however, I do agree with the second statement that building new structures can be a better option. And then I explain safety as my first idea. Second, they are not practical. This is my second idea. And the most important point in this paragraph is that if we don't demolish some buildings, and instead we build new buildings in the suburban areas, which will create additional expenses, which will exceed the profit which comes from tourism. That's all about this essays. I hope that this video will really help to you to write such kind of topics. If you have any other topics that you know and you have difficulty in, feel free to write them in the comment section. See you in the next video.